Welcome to Cosmic Comics, Games and Collectibles, your zen of geekism. We carry comics old and new, magazines, toys, games like Pokemon, Magic, D&D. Want Godzilla, Ultraman, Star Trek, Ninja Turtles, Funko Pops? You'll find it all here. Shop our Cosmic Sound Room and pick up a record or two. Enjoy our Comic Coffee Lounge with a cup of Sasquatch coffee while geeking out over a super cool movie on our big screen. Cosmic Comic, Games and Collectibles. Superman loves us, and so will you.
Hi everyone, Jason Hunt here, inviting you to join us every Saturday morning for news, the week's headlines in science fiction, fantasy, horror, comic books, video games, plus Comic-Con updates and the weather, and the occasional interview along the way. We call it Good Morning Multiverse. We hope you join us every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 Central, right here on Sci-Fi for Me TV.
America's southern border has become a war zone. Human traffickers, drug smugglers, and terrorists flow across the Rio Grande with impunity, secure in the knowledge that no one will stop them. A distant federal government lectures Americans on their privilege while punishing overworked Border Patrol agents who were helpless to stem the tidal wave of invaders and determined migrants. Second-generation Cuban-American Marcos Zamora is a military vet, more patriotic than most Americans. No longer able to ignore the chaos at his doorstep, he acts. Joined by his best friend Gus, they hit the border every night, saving lives while stopping violent drug cartels and other opportunists. The government reacts with fury at Marcos' attempts to preserve American sovereignty, deploying the full might of their enforcement agencies. But Marcos understands that the only thing the rich and powerful fear is bad publicity, and he records every encounter. Whoever he is, this private American must be stopped. Illustrated by Richard Bonk and written by Eisner winner Mike Baron, Private American is his version of Captain America, and maybe a little Punisher, taking part in this ongoing, violent, and very real battle of good versus evil in the war for American sovereignty. Grab your copy at theprivateamerican.com.
We have a secure border, and that is a priority for our administration.
Your favorite podcast, it's Critical Blast.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show Mr. Doc Bishop.
Thank you for having me.
We are in the wrong jail. We're in the wrong comics jail. This is a 5-person jail. We just need a cozy 2-person jail.
There we go.
I've told StreamYard, I'm like, hey, let us pop these things out here so I don't have to scroll a mile up and down to get to the things I want to use. So I set it all up in that last 30-second video. I'm like, this one, that one. We're real professional here, as you can tell.
Oh, yeah. They like streaming things together is how we do things.
Yes. Yeah, we it's fly by the seat of your pants here, but people still come to watch, like Luke Stone Studios here. Hail right back to you, Luke. Glad to see you here. We're going to have him on next week. And a hearty handshake from Woody, and Comics Talk with Pops Van Zandt is out there. All of us have the same question, including myself tonight, Doc, and that is, what the hell is this thing you're going to show us? Because we've looked a little bit. And,
well, First World started off as a joke, believe it or not. Earlier on in the year, I was goofing off and having some fun with some of my friends and just creating. And we created a couple of characters that really intrigued me. So I went a little bit further and decided to develop some character models, and that's when I found some of the dark corners of the internet, and said, yes, that's the idea I want to go with. So we decided to take some of the more obscure Reddit rants, like the Death Snail. If anybody's looked at memes or Reddit or anything, that's one of the ones we enjoy, or our absolute favorite, which is the main story arc of First World and how it's created. It has to do with the Harambe effect.
yes, we're going to get that. That's how it all starts. I
And
tell you, I'm looking at this, and it's like if Steve Gerber had been fed a diet of memes before he wrote Howard the Duck.
and we're just getting started. We're actively working on issue 2 now, and it gets worse. Yeah.
Good. In a
Um,
good way, it gets worse, folks.
oh yeah, no, absolutely. It's we decide to take the same page out of like a South Park, Rick and Morty, adult comedy where everybody is in the target, and if we can make fun of you, we will make fun of you. Hey, Amy. Amy
That,
Good
that's
just logged in. That's our writer.
Hey, Amy, glad you're here. Send her the link if you want. We can have everybody jump in. Yeah, the thing about good satire is that it's Switzerland. It doesn't take a side. I've been honored to be able to write some of the Remo Williams books in Warren Murphy's footsteps, and those are some the ones that came before me were satire at their best, because they just stick everybody. They didn't care who it was.
That's where the parody comes in, because we decided to mimic the Mandela effect. If anybody and everybody knows of the Mandela effect, it's quite common, I believe, nowadays. So we just kind of changed the framework of the Mandela effect and brought it into a fiction world, and then we attempt to explain all the chaos that's going on in current pop culture using our characters and our own imaginations of how things could have happened in a different fractured reality.
It's funny. I just watched an episode of Inside Job
Yes,
yesterday.
so did I. I watched it. I think it was last weekend. I stumbled across that. I'm like, that's hand in hand with what First World's creating. It's could be in the same universe almost.
Yeah, the whole I've got my Shazam movie poster, and I'm with them there. I swear to God, I remember that movie. I didn't watch it, but I remember the poster.
I actually did a report on Mandela's death back in middle school. I,
Oh
I
wow.
just wish I could find the report. It was like a 4-page report. It wasn't anything huge, but I remember having to look it up in the encyclopedia because I'm old, and uh, I remember doing that now. Yes, I'm just going to leave it at that.
I have seen copies of Berenstain Bears spelled the Jewish way. So
It's you know, it's an idea, and let's parody that idea along with anything else we can find to parody and make fun of.
yes, yeah, it's it's a rabbit hole when you start doing the Mandela effect, and you start
Yes.
you cross that over with the flat earthers, and then you kind of take a detour through the Man from Torred. Google that one. That's a fun one.
Might have to, yes.
The Man from Torred was once it was in the 1950s, and it was an airport, and this guy couldn't find the plane home, and they're like, "Well, where are you at?" And he's got his passport out, and it says he's from Torred, and they're like, "Where the hell is Torred?"
Oh, I
And
think
he's
I've
like,
read this story. Yes.
"Yeah." He points to a map where it's at, and they're like, there's no country there named Torred. And by the time they get it all figured out, he's gone. He disappeared on them. Uh,
No, absolutely. There's lots of things that are unexplainable, and well, let's try to explain whatever kind of conspiracy theory we can explain. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and just laugh at everything we could possibly laugh at.
yeah.
The approach we took is on a timing approach. So we're going to take it and start it with the Harambe effect, and that starts us in 2016. Of course, is when that happens, and that leaves us enough room to make fun of about 5 issues worth for 2016 before we
Oh
sum
yeah.
that up in a nice little 2016 almanac. And then we get to move on to 2017 now that we've established First World.
Oh,
And
I like it.
just wait till we get into 2021, the pandemic.
This,
Yes, there's plenty to, and it's almost writing itself.
your approach kind of reminds me of an old show that I was the only person who loved called Dark Skies, and it came out in 1996.
It
And it
sounds
was
familiar.
it was an X-Files kind of show, UFOs. It was like all the history reels they showed were footage, but the stories they told behind them were like, why Kennedy had to be assassinated and all that stuff. The guys discovered Majestic 12 and all that. And the whole 1996 season was the 60s. 97 was going to be the 70s. 98 was going to be the 80s. And then
Oh, right
2000
on.
would be everything caught up. Didn't go past the first season, but an ambitious project nonetheless. But
Mm,
yeah, that it's a similar setup where you're doing the year by year kind of thing as an almanac or a omnibus kind of thing. I'm just worried, Doc, that if you do your job right, and the pages I've seen seem to indicate you are, there's every indication that there's going to be a lot of people say, "Yeah, he got it. Ooh, he's got secret stuff. He's privy to knowledge."
or they're going to spend most of the time trying to cancel me.
Well, there's that.
That's more of what I'm expecting. It's not politically correct, and that's by design. Absolutely by design, because if we can't laugh at what's going on in the current pop culture of current reality, then we're doing it wrong. And shows like what was that one you just mentioned that we from yesterday?
Inside Job.
Inside Job and South Park success or Simpsons success and things like that. There is a demand for comedy like this. We just haven't seen too much of it in the comic book arena that I've been able to find.
Yeah, it's if you do find it, it's all written from one side. It seems like.
It does, and I promise you, I take no sides. Everybody is in my targets: the left, the right, the middle, the top, the bottom.
And Pops is running an anti-cancel culture network. So
Really?
Yeah, Amy, you can come on with just audio. Just don't turn the camera on, and it'll kind of look like this. You can pick an avatar, and it'll you just put your picture up there like that, and it'll just kind of fluctuate as your voice comes through. But um, but we don't care what you look like, honestly. As long as as long as you don't have porn playing in the background, something like that, we're good. It'd be perfect. I'm going to bring the campaign up here. So to do that, I've got to get rid of our little comic book panels thing here. And right away, this character is in our face.
Above Average Joe is his name. And he is our podcast host because First World has a plethora of characters. We had Amy, my writer, she was challenged with taking, I think I threw like 30 characters at her and trying to make a cohesive storyline out of my ranting. And she's done an amazing job. But we had to have some sort of a way to frame it. So we figured the best way to do it is an Inception type of a parody. So let's go ahead and tell a comic book from the perspective of a podcast. And that way we have plenty of room to be able to invite as many characters as we need to onto the podcast. We can then use flashbacks. We can use personal talking in order to get to both sides of the story because, well, this first issue has layers and it's mainly talking about perspective, how people look at different events and talk about events from perspective. Or we're just racist, and it could be that one too.
It could be it too. I would expect Above Average Joe to be above average and be wiser. He's been trepanned. He's got his third eye.
He's open to what's going on and kind of sits outside of the reality bubble, along with a couple of other characters that we're going to build on throughout the storyline.
All right, folks. Before we start digging in here, I want to remind everybody, in case you didn't know, in case you looked at the video and stopped, right below the video is the link to this Kickstarter. Click on it, open up the Kickstarter. It'll open in a new tab. You'll still be here listening. You won't lose any of the information that Doc's going to lay down on you here. So as we're scrolling through this, keep in mind, 14 days to go.
We're cutting it close.
Let's get halfway there. Let's move this thing. Because if you liked Howard the Duck, if you like Steve Gerber, Dr. Bong, all that stuff that was in the 70s, this is the 2020 version of all of that.
Oh yes, big fan of Howard the Duck.
So right off the bat, the title. When we keep hearing, like, oh, my landscaper didn't come on time today, and I couldn't get to work. First world problems.
Yes.
Is that where all this is coming from?
That's exactly where this is coming from. Everything is first world problems. Everybody is a target. Just like in the I'll go ahead and spill it on here to see how many people will look through it. There's in our letterer was given a challenge when he was lettering it, where nobody is important enough to be capitalized. No individual I is important enough to be capital. And
that's
that is
unique style of lettering because they usually capitalize every word.
Exactly.
So this is an E.E. Cummings lettering style throughout the book.
Sure, we'll go with that.
The poet who didn't capitalize anything, including his own name. So we're gonna hear all the stories. I guess your Above Average Joe then character is sort of like the Crypt Keeper from EC Comics, where he's like the narrative framework.
Yes, yeah, we use him as a narrative tool. He is not necessarily outside of time, but he is outside of the bubble that and kind of looking into the Harambe effect.
Okay, and this is where we are here, the Harambe effect, and we got the false memories excerpt from Wikipedia, because here's where false memories come from. First, we form them from a digital source. Then the digital source goes in and changes it. And then we're like, I know it said that before. Seriously, when all the encyclopedias have gone to dust and are no longer printed, history is whatever Google says it is.
It's whatever survives.
Yeah, that's kind of scary. But
That and history is
I'm-
also written by the winners. So
yeah,
how accurate is the stories? Perspective. You only really hear one side of the story, but in reality, there's three: your side, my side, and what actually took place, because we can
exactly.
only see it from our single serving perspective.
And we even with images, uh, you have things like we'll take the January 6th thing for something incendiary to toss out there. We're like, look, they're just marching. Look, they're rioting. I'm like, this you
It's all in the
take
narrative.
your own perspective. Yeah, it's how where do you focus your perception of on the same image to get what you need to hear.
Exactly.
Now, I remember Harambe. If I'm recalling the story correctly, child falls in the gorilla compound. Somebody shoots the gorilla, thinking they're saving the child, or maybe they really were saving the child. I've seen Harambe
It's gone
zombie
both
tattoos.
directions.
Yeah. So
It all
what is
depends on
the
who you talk to. So we just take the story as a whole, and we start off with the all blasphemy aside, the Messiah monkey, the kicker of the entire storyline of First World, and we put him dead center right in the very beginning, so we actually see what happens. The Harambe gets shot.
all for trying to help be nice to people, just like the last time. So what is the Harambe effect? I mean, is that a real thing that I'm not aware of yet that you're building the story on, or is that the story?
Well, kind of. It's a conspiracy theory, or more of a dark internet humor you can find on some of the corners of Reddit and iFunny and different places where censorship is not as big as Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. And the Harambe effect is something I've been reading for years about. When Harambe happened, that's when the timeline fractured, and that's why all of the madness we know of today in pulp culture is happening, as well, because the monkey died, and that's hilarious. So let's use that. Let's absolutely use that and parody that.
Hi, Amy.
Hey, Amy.
We can hear your keyboard. We don't hear your voice, but chime in at any time. So the shooting of Harambe shattered the timeline. I'm digging it.
And that's
I
where we
will
went
say-
into First World, and now we can take liberties under our First Amendment right to parody and satire to tell whatever story we want to tell, because now it's a fractured reality.
Yep. He said madness. Yes.
Yes, absolute madness. That is exactly what we have in mind.
That is the name of the Madness Comic Network, and we did just find you. So the whole network of Pops, myself, and other people, we can pass you around like a fat blunt and get you in front of in front of our people, at least. So
Well, we need to spread the word as far as we can, because we are lagging behind. I was expecting a little bit more traction on the Kickstarter, and I'm not entirely sure why. I've been trying to push it, but I'm also kind of ignorant when it comes to the Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all of that marketing. So I'm learning.
And this is your first.
This is absolutely my first. I've never attempted any kind of publication before.
Yeah. So a lot of people are like, I don't know this guy. And a lot of first
I
timers.
also have no idea what I'm doing. So add those together, you get a reaction like I got on here.
You'll figure that part out as you go along.
Oh, we're learning a lot day by day.
With first timers, it's always like, not so much is he talented. We can see the pages, we can read the story, but more people are concerned with, will he deliver? Amy, you there this time? Audio? You're not muted, at least not programmatically.
I've put my money there. I've delivered. It will be delivered.
These are printed.
Funded. Yeah, it's already done. I'm ready to ship.
Okay, so this is just an online store, folks.
This is me testing the feasibility of this IP. This is me trying to put back into my rainy day fund what I took out in order to do this. And I've wanted to be a creator of a comic or a book, and this allows me to absolutely scratch that off my bucket list, whether it succeeds or not. I'm already in stores, but I do want to spread the word more than just locally here in the Appalachian.
Oh yeah,
Appalachian.
Uh, is you're familiar with Indiegogo?
I am familiar with it. Yes.
Okay, so when you're done here, maybe they have different audiences.
By the time I say I might try Indiegogo for issue 2, we're already 10 pages into issue 2 on the on the line work. The
Okay.
storyboarding's done, the script is done. Issue 2 should be done by the end of the year, and it's going to be much larger. This one is just the introduction. It's a little bit smaller of an issue, but it's letting us set the groundwork and the framework for First World so that we can lead into more bigger issues. Like issue 2 is planning to be a 36-page issue, where this one's closer to a 24-page issue.
That 24 is still a good sized book. I mean, that's
It took a lot more than I thought to put it together. I've learned an incredible deal putting this together on what it actually takes to put a comic book together. And now looking at my collection, I see what goes into all the people it takes to put this together. And I have an incredible crew that helped me put this together.
It's an assembly line job.
It absolutely is. It seems like I just kept adding people to help me accomplish this. And now we've got a rock star team, and we are pushing forward almost like we know what we're doing, but we still don't have much of an idea.
Yeah. See, with Indiegogo, you can have this thing called a flexible goal, where you can say like $500 flex goal, and then no matter what it makes, you're still fulfilling. You're just kind of collecting cash.
Right on. That could be
And-
something
and-
interesting to check for issue 2.
and you'd have been fulfilled. I did post this on Twitter earlier this afternoon with the picture of Aunt Sam, and we're going to get to him, her, Zer, they in a bit here. And you know, believe it or not, on Twitter they said, well, you know, Harambe did have the goods on the Clintons.
Well, and I found out something interesting is when I put something on Twitter, there's a Harambe group that automatically reposts it for me because it says Harambe in it. It's built-in cross-marketing.
Yes. And you know, when you do pop culture parody like this, you're going to hit all the little niche groups. Like, oh, my thing is in here.
Yeah, but then you make fun of people and you knock yourself out of the mainstream groups. So it's kind of a give or take.
Yeah. It's I've seen it happen. You're like, you know, you're reading along, they're reading along. You're like, ha, look at him stab them. Oh, he gored them good. Hey, wait a minute, that's mine. This isn't so fun anymore.
Well, my stance on First World is if I haven't offended you by the end of issue 1, I will probably reach my goal by the end of issue 3. But yeah, if I don't find something that kind of turns the stomach, I think we did our job wrong. We do hit it kind of hard, and yeah, this is parody, folks. We're just trying to get a laugh, and everybody thinks something is funny.
Now, is there, because I've seen this cover and I can tell by Above Average Joe that he's more than just a Triclops with a podcast. He's got simian features.
Yeah, he's a almost monkey. We've got a very heavy monkey theme going, especially in issue 1. It doesn't carry as strong throughout the entire storyline, but issue 1, there's a very heavy primate theme. And yes, Above Average Joe is part primate. If we actually get to some of my spinoffs, I actually have 2 spinoff titles for this that we can talk about now or later. It's up to you. That would tell the story of Above Average Joe and his origins, along with another character, Pope, and his origins, which just gives us a whole nother rabbit hole to run down.
Oh boy, Heroinberg, thanks for being out here. Yes, Harambe didn't kill himself. That's important to know. And it's good meme too. Who did you get to draw this? Because I'm like, is this that guy who did all the monster cereals art?
That's actually Amy, the writer. She is also an illustrator, and that is Amy's cover. So she has variant cover A, and that's, you know, for the variant covers, if you notice, we have issue capital 1.
Now, hold on, let me see here. This is the main cover, right?
Yes, that's the main cover. That was done by Osiris, our main artist.
This is okay. This is issue exclamation point capital 1. Yes.
And then that's done by Antone Blackman, who is my concept artist and the one that helped me get the whole idea out of my head and onto paper.
I'm digging it. So, does the world? Do they know that things are screwed up and it's because of this one event, or do we just know this and we're watching the world unfurl differently?
Depends on who they are. They
The
meaning
readers.
above average Joe, yes. The
Okay.
reader can figure it out really quickly. I think we do a really good job in issue 1 setting the storyline of it happening and most of the world not even being aware of it happening.
Okay, that's kind of what I meant. Yeah, the person on the street, he's like, yeah, this is life. It's we've
This
always
is
been a
first
world
world.
peace
It's
nation.
always been like this.
Oh yeah, you are right, Harrenberg. This is right up Don Chin's alley. If you don't know Don Chin, I will make that introduction. He is the
Oh, that would be
Mr.
wonderful.
Rogers of independent comic books. Nicest guy in the world. And you know the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Yes,
He didn't make
big
those.
fan.
But he did make the adolescent radioactive black belt hamsters.
Okay, interesting. Yes, love that parody.
And he is doing parody press stuff all the time now, crowdfunded. So, Beard Zerker was his last one, and he does have a weekly
nice.
show. So we got to get you in here.
Oh, gonna have to. Yes, I'm a huge parody fan. It's a big soft spot for me. I'm actually debating whether or not I want to drive 8 hours to go see Weird Al live. He's got a concert that's going to be not too far from me.
Oh, you have to. You have to.
I almost there's still VIP backstage passes. I can shake the man's hand.
Yeah. And have you seen the movie?
I've seen bits and pieces of it.
I haven't seen it all yet. And
but I'm super excited to sit down and give it my full attention. I'm a huge fan of parody.
yeah, Weird Al's this weird obviously, but it's this interesting concept because sometimes his musicians are better than the bands that they're covering.
I absolutely agree.
Harrenberg says the Weird Al movie is not good. I didn't think it was like going to be a true to life biopic, but
Oh, I had high hopes for it. I'm still gonna have to watch it.
But here is, of course, the opening pages. Harambe is shot and bleeding, and the skies open up and the heavens rumble.
Should I go ahead and point out our first Easter egg?
Please do.
Okay, can you zoom in on the bloodbath above Harambe's head?
I can maybe. This is the problem with zooming is it
Okay,
am I
well,
supposed
let's just point it out, and they're going to have to see it in order to get it. But you see that little trail going off? That is
Yes.
the creation of the death snail. So if anybody knows the dark memes and the internet humor of the death snail, that was the creation of the death snail is when Harambe died. One of
And
our
he's-
many Easter eggs.
He's leaving a snail trail of blood that spells death, and off into the grass he goes.
So one of my fun things I plan to do is load this with as many Easter eggs in the background as possible for rereading, review, so that upon review you might catch something else.
Yeah, that's the best kind of stuff. Like Watchmen, I'm
Yes.
still finding new stuff in that every time I read it. Now, this leads us into Aunt Sam.
Yes.
Which
Aunt
is
Sam.
interesting because Uncle Sam wasn't a real character in the real world before that. So, but Aunt Sam is here.
Yes. Aunt Sam is our version of the 2016 plus Uncle Sam. It is, of course, Uncle Sam after he has transitioned to that.
Amy, you did mute yourself, and I can't unmute you, but
Yep, I didn't want to interrupt anybody.
we hear you.
Hi,
How are you, Amy?
I'm good, Doc. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Tired, but
Great
good.
show so far. Good questions.
Oh, thanks.
But so Amy, I've got to ask you. Doc
Yeah.
comes to you with this concept. He's laying it all out.
Mhm.
Do you immediately head for your word processor, or do you Google up nearest mental health facilities?
Oh, probably a happy medium.
Happy meeting. Okay.
Yeah.
Something wrong here.
No, sorry. I'm
Oh, we
sorry.
got
Am I lagging? Let me know if the audio is lagging.
maybe a little
Oh,
bit. I don't think it's not terribly much though. Are you on an Apple?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. If you want to try again, or you can just hang around. The trick with the apples with StreamYard is if you open the link in Chrome, in the Chrome app, it works a lot better. The iOS for Apple
I'll go ahead and do that.
doesn't play well. Yeah.
Got it. I'll do that then. All right. I'll be back. Sorry guys. If it doesn't work this
Okay.
time, I'll just leave you to it.
Oh, you're
No
fine.
problem. Like we're not
Oh.
CNN.
Oh,
We're-
she's got a lot to do with this because she's the one that actually wrote the script for me. I gave her large scenarios to weave together.
So Aunt Sam is here to take care of the body.
Aunt Sam's here to
Pyramid?
take care of business. You're gonna have to
Okay.
read the story to really know how it ties together, or how many spoilers should I give for the book?
Oh, don't. Just explain the pages that we do get to see.
Gotcha. Well, this is her getting upset with her minions. Those are some of the League of Three Letters, which is another series of characters that we have. You know, the FBI, CIA, IRS, that
Yes.
they can't even tell each other apart. So they're just the League of Three Letters, and they do the nefarious work that needs to be done by, you know, the dark section of the Illuminatis.
When I was a military contractor early in my career for several years, and we had what we called TLAs, and TLAs stood for three-letter acronyms.
Yeah,
and we also had XTLAs, which were extended three-letter acronyms for anything that was beyond 3 letters. It's a thing.
it is.
Herrenberg, yes and no. If you'll take a good look at Aunt Sam's face here, you'll see the chin whiskers. Aunt Sam is a pre-op transsexual version flip of Uncle Sam. So no, it's not just a gender swap. It's you can't.
It's a new character, actually. I was
That
not
implies
that familiar.
binary. Come on.
Well, you can't tell a good story nowadays without having one, can you?
No, you can't. You. In fact,
So-
you're in a bit of a pickle because your art's just a little too good. It's-
My artist is amazing. That is Osiris Santos, and he is a phenomenal artist that has taken the storyboards we've given him and given us an even better product than what we saw the storyboard. It's absolutely amazing. He's blown both of my socks off on numerous occasions.
Yeah, if you want to sell comics these days, you have to find somebody on Tumblr who just got on there and learned how to use MS Paint. I kid, but no, I don't. So this takes us from Aunt Sam taking care of business.
Yep, she's tired of the incompetency of the League of Three Letters, so she'll just do it herself.
There you go. That's what
Anything worth doing is worth doing yourself, right?
absolutely. I always say anything worth doing is worth overdoing, and I'm seeing a lot of that here, and I like it. So here we are at studio.
Yes. My naming conventions are one of my favorite parts of one of my many favorite parts of this comic book is I love the naming conventions. We have Above Average Joe, we have Auntie Sam, we have First World, we have once we start getting into the different parts of the countries and worlds, we have Mother Country, we have Big Asia, Little Asia, Cold-ish Asia. I'm having a load of fun with the naming conventions.
You're going to be so banned in China, dude.
Yes, I am. I'm good. I fully intend on not making everybody happy.
Good.
That's kind of the point.
I can't wait to where I'm pissed off. I'm sure it's coming.
I'll find something in there for you. Just give me time. We'll get to it.
But yeah, it's studio. I love it. They probably read newspaper every morning. So
Major City.
Major City.
Major City Zoo. If you go back up to the top, it's Major City Zoo.
I remember. I saw that. I just didn't point it out. But yeah, Major City Zoo. Oh, good Lord. So he's got somebody here on his show. He is going to be talking to an anonymous whistleblower.
Oh, yes. You always have to have a whistleblower, don't you, in order to blow off
course.
the nefarious schemes that the politicians are up to?
And he's going to be talking about the Harambe effect rabbit hole.
So we'll use the podcast and our main narrator as Above Average Joe, and use that to set the story and set the stage for our world. No, there's not a Yellow Asia.
People are trying to get you in
Not yet,
trouble
at
with
least.
Yellow Asia and Hijabia.
We're still putting the world together, so any ideas we can have, spit them out.
Yeah, he's like, you could tell a story without a trans character, but you'd never win an Oscar, a BAFTA, a Hugo, or an Eisner.
Exactly. We've got to be all inclusive.
Got to be. So we're not going to find out what they're talking about, because that's the story, guys. That's the reason.
It is. I'm really trying to sell comic books here.
Yeah. And the tiers are,
But
here's your
No, go ahead.
your digital copies here. This is now what is the difference here? Oh, good Lord. I thought these were both just digital copies. This is $10 for the physical book.
Physical copy, yes. First edition, first print. Yes, there's 500 that exist.
Oh, okay, guys, buy them up. 500 times 10, that's a 5,000 to get this thing.
And I do have the ISBNs on there with the tracking of the serial numbers, so you can see the first issue, first print, first variant, which variants and which prints they are. I do plan to stay with that convention.
That's we're a publisher. we publish books. I get it.
It helps all involved. And hopefully this will be as much fun for everybody else as it is for me, and we might be able to build a small fan following.
Hey, Amy.
Hey.
Hey, Amy.
I think it's behaving a lot better now.
Hopefully.
This being a Kickstarter, everybody hates either one of them. Here's what I hate about Kickstarter as a podcaster. It auto refreshes. So I can't go to the top of the screen and say, hey, let's refresh this and see where we're at. Because it's
Thank you. Somebody
you've already got backers through the show tonight here.
That is incredible. Thank you.
This is what we call our shake and bake moment here. And it goes a little bit something like this.
It's shake and bake, and I help.
That goes out to the folks in the chat who helped get this thing up there. And that would be Pops Van Zant decided he's going to get one of these things.
Well, thank you.
And he wants his signed and numbered number 13.
I'll make a note. Yes.
So that is, the 13th backer. That's why. Okay, I thought he just pulled a number out of thin air. So I'm going to keep number 13 in mind. If I see that go up during the show, I will then know stuff happened.
I made a note.
And trying to get back to where we were after the Major City Zoo, after Aunt Sam takes care of business, and after Above Average Joe starts things up. So these are the tiers. $10 for the main event, where you'll get the digital and the physical copy.
We can just leave it in the plastic. Hopefully it'll be worth something.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Put it in some people put them in plastic. Some people slab them. I buy comic book frames and I just hang them on the wall. Now, granted, 90%.
How much wall space do you have? I've got more comic books than that.
Well, I was going to say most of the comics that are on the wall are on the side walls. That's on purpose because YouTube would be taking me down all the time for background material. Like I've got my my autographed photo of Valerie Perrine over here, and it's not when she was in Superman; it's when she was in something else, showing a lot more skin.
This brings us into our variant covers.
Yeah, for $20, variant covers, which
circulation on variant covers is 75. I've printed 75 variant covers.
And you're going to get a mystery sticker. We're not going to show it to you. You need
No,
a sticker.
no. I've got Lisa Beavers, my art director or the director of the book. She's got a background in magazines and has helped us kind of pool all of this together and get this as far as we have. And she is a whiz at the stickers and the other things like that. So she has got already some printing out that are incredible.
And for $40, basically both of these, and you'll get the main one for free.
Yes. And that's the variant lovers. If you're somebody like myself, I'm a collector. If I have to have all the variants. If I become a fan, I have to have all the variants.
Now, I've only seen one other person do this, and it wasn't for a comic book, but it was still crowdfunded comics related. For $75, you're going to get all the copies. Is that right? No.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
For $75, you get all the variants, just like the variants lover, but you're also going to go ahead and get a pair of socks. If you look in the background there's a pair of socks that I've designed using some of the first world black and whites that my fan base I've checked it with already are absolutely in love with the socks. I need to go ahead and put that order in and get that on its way. But you also go ahead and get a pair of stickers, the socks, and all of the covers.
Yeah, I'm familiar with,
Yes, I'm a sock fan.
It's there we go. So here's the thing about these socks, though, is like, when you put them on, you're you get the silly putty effect. Their faces stretch out. Amy, jump in anytime you want to say something here. This is free for all. So
Okay, you guys seemed like you were so structured and doing so well. I didn't want to throw a
I've started shows before, Amy. I didn't even know I had a show coming up.
Man, have we got her fooled.
I just like, I got a Kickstarter link. Let's talk to this guy.
You're firing off all these excellent questions.
Well, that's because I come in from the point of
I better
ignorance.
shut up.
Every question comes from the fact that I have not looked at anything in depth before. Otherwise, I know all the answers. And it's like, you can tell. You can tell when somebody's setting it up. Just hear what they expect to hear for the sake of the audience. I have no idea what I'm going to hear.
Now, along with the First World VIP, you will also get a signed copy of the first script before we even storyboarded it.
Oh, that was this one here. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
along with the funky pair of socks.
So if you want to see, the writing process, for writing a comic book, because, a lot of you guys want to,
this is where we built the storyboard off of.
Exactly. So for $75, it's worth the education. $250, you can become a world member.
Pretty in depth. I think it's like a 12-page script also. So
yeah,
you can definitely see kind of the thought process behind it.
I hate to I hate to burst your bubbles on this one. 12-page script for a 28-page comic. Sometime go get the absolute edition of Watchmen. Alan Moore wrote 11 pages of manuscript for the first page of the book.
Oh wow.
it's Alan Moore scripts are like, page 1, panel 1, upper right-hand corner, there's a butterfly. It's a painted lady. She's coming in from the northwest. And it's all important to him.
Yep. I just finished reading that novel over the weekend, as well as a couple others to do some homework on upcoming projects.
Oh, well, if you're doing it for homework and you want extra credit points, go back to that novel, open up chapter 5, get to the middle where Adrian Veidt is knocking the guy into the pool with the big stick, and there's the big V in the background, and then the V is reflected in the pool, so it makes like an X. That's X marks the spot. Now lay that open, lift both pages so they're straight up, and look down, and you'll see that this story, which is Rorschach's story, Alan Moore made every opposing page a Rorschach design in both panel layout and the action that's taking place in those opposing panels. He's a black magician.
Oh my God.
No, he literally is a black magician.
Yeah.
But
wow. That's like Inception levels of artistry there.
It really is the stuff he did. And the porn bots have found us. We must be doing something right. We're getting attention. So thank you, porn bots, for the hits. I gotta block you so nobody accidentally clicks on your not really going to take me to porn links. Otherwise, you'd be welcome. You could,
Come on and listen.
exactly. $500. That's a big ask right there.
That
that's
is a
thumbnail
very
away.
big ask, but if somebody wants to go ahead and help get behind First World for $500, I'll also let you go ahead and design your own variant cover for either issue 2 or 3, depending on what stage of the process we are in by the time we fund and get this process moving. So that would be a kick it cover maybe, or a fan created cover. I will give you one of my artists and you can explain your concept in detail for us to go ahead and create a additional variant of a fan cover.
Okay, so they're the art
Which I would
director
personally
on
love
the
to do that.
Unless
Yeah,
they're
so
an
I would
artist
personally love to
themselves
do
who
that
would
and
like
work
to
with
submit
someone.
the artwork. We would be more than willing to let them submit the artwork if they wanted to submit their artwork. But if there's somebody like me, a no talent hack that can't draw a straight line with a ruler, yeah, you're going to have to just give me an artist and let me explain it with stick figures.
You know what the genius of this is? You found a way for artists to pay you to put their artwork on your comic. That's the way you do it.
So that's what the $500 backer is if you want to, and that's limited. I'm only going to do 1 or 2 of the backers for the variants, or it's just going to become kind of hard to maintain and hard to keep track of. We want to keep that special.
That would be very
So
fun,
we
though.
got- It sounds like it's going to be fun. I'm following this one through. Creators Outlet is here in the chat. Will, welcome. Glad to have you here, my friend. So this is our characters. We've already met Above Average Joe. He has experience on his shirt.
He does. He has lots of experience in watching the world turn.
And then
Or
we
burn.
have now, just watching the wheels go round and round.
And this is Mama Nat. Mama Nat is the embodiment of Mother Nature herself. We are taking a demigod approach to some of our characters. So this is one of our mini characters is Mama Nat, and she embodies Mother Nature. She allows us to have a different perspective on things and allows us to bring the story further.
So we're going to have character interaction with anthropomorphic personifications of abstract concepts. This is
Yes.
Sandman 2,
Yes.
folks.
Oh,
Yes,
God.
we also have a character by the name of Papa Time. He's kind of a cross between Rip Van Winkle meets Flavor Flav. And he flies around time in his red phone booth that is his retardus.
Does he wear the big watch?
He does, yes. He's got the big watch. Yes. And that's actually, let me actually pause here for just a second, because that leads us into one of my spinoffs I would love to get started. It would be something along the lines of like Brat to the Future, where Z would steal the retardus from Papa Time and take it on a joyride through history. And that would allow us to make fun of all sorts of things in history, you know, like the Challenger explosion back in /87, the 9/11.
Z being a stand-in for Gen Z, by the way,
Yes.
like a semi-protagonist / plot device.
I'm
Almost
still
dead.
hung up on the retardus.
Like I said, naming conventions I've had a lot of fun with, and nobody is out of scope of the parody. I do plan to hit pretty much every major vein we can find, and that's all of them in pop culture.
Harrowenberg's bringing us down. He's got a serious question. How is Divergent Comics related to this project? And is there any worries about it being confused with the Divergent series?
Divergent Comics is a company that we have brought on to help us promote and fund the Kickstarter and help us learn this process and how to get it through. They've also helped me with the printing process and supplied us the letterer for the issue 1. So they've been a big help in promoting our comic and getting it this far. But
So
it
I
is
thought maybe that was your own company.
Divergent is a side project of Inked. Inked
All
publication.
right. Yes.
Studios.
So it's their
Wow.
Ink Studios. Yeah, it's their more adult line.
Gotcha. Didn't know they had. an
So yeah,
adult
I
line, so
understand that
that's
there's some issues with name recognition there because there's the Divergent series. But yeah, there's a distinction. Obviously, we have nothing to do with that.
Yeah. Nobody else does either.
Pure
I didn't say
coincidence. And then this brings us to Auntie Sam, which is one of our
Auntie Sam.
main protagonists that is highlighted earlier. And this is our concept art that was provided by Antone Blackman and helped get the idea out of my head and onto paper.
I'm digging it. This is a hot-headed pre-op Uncle Sam. Go ahead.
I went somewhat pre-op. He's got the bolt-ons, but yeah, I wish we could have shown them my original concept for Auntie Sam, but I guess having his manhood flailing around underneath that miniskirt I put him in was probably a little too X-rated for some audiences.
Yeah. Yep. He'd be a true Scotsman.
You know, we should put that up behind our paywall or something on our website so they can see some of the creations and some of the failed or some of the concepts we didn't choose.
Yeah. She serves the will of the poop and represents the Illuminatis. This interesting that he's called the poop because they once did actually venerate his excretions as you take a Eucharist and it turns into the body of Christ. What's it going to come out as? Come on. Yes, I said something offensive myself. How do you figure that?
Well, this is the perfect place for it.
Harold, did you name the character Gen Z? And she could be the spirit of a generation, similar to how Jenny Sparks, I love that character,
Interesting.
is the spirit of the 20th century in The Authority.
Interesting idea. Thank you.
We live to serve.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Usually it's my role here to look at a campaign and say, you know what you need, which is trademarked, by the way, and I'm going to put it on a shirt. Now, tonight, the chat is like, oh, you need to do this. You need to have that. We are all behind you on this one here.
Well, we need all the support we can get.
And I would love to hear anybody's feedback because we do have lots of other projects that are going to be coming down Pipeworks, and that is going to be one of them for sure. And I love the idea because, yeah, the Gen Z character is going to be some type of stand-in for, the stereotypical kind of concepts that we associate with that age group, right? Which makes it all the more funny because I think they're ready to get to be made fun of. Me as a millennial, I've had to deal with it for the last 10 years, so it's your turn now, guys.
Nice.
You're now at 789.
That just pushed us past our 50% goal. Thank you, guys. That is awesome.
We are there. We were getting ready to move into the creative team portion of the project. You guys are here. We don't have to read that. You're right here. But we didn't get to see all the characters because
I sent you some by email.
You sent me some by email. So we've seen Auntie Sam. This is Big Pharma.
Yes. Big Pharma is going to be making his debut in issue 2. And he doesn't need an explanation, I don't think.
I don't think so. I think we know what he's all about. He's a big gelatinous blob. And if you look at him real close, folks, you'll see pills floating around inside his jello snot-like body.
Like I said, nobody's off limits. Just
you have made a will, right? I mean,
I'm not suicidal, I can promise.
Oh, God.
He's recorded right here.
This is Devil's Advocate.
Yeah.
Also known as D. She is going to be Above Average Joe's woman on the street. His street reporter allows us to tell the story a little bit more effectively. And she has the ability to kind of poof or teleport wherever she needs to because, well, reasons.
She's wonderful.
Yeah, well,
and I love her character design.
Oh, yes. She is making her debut in issue 2 as well.
And I'm very, very excited about issue 2 because I'm not kidding you when I say that issue is easily twice the length of the first issue because the first issue is obviously our introduction into the world. And in issue 2, Doc was really gracious enough to let me take the gloves almost totally off and pull punches at pretty much everybody.
Oh, yeah, there might be a couple of black eyes coming out of that one. This one's Found Fathers. Found Fathers we won't see for another couple issues, but he is a Appalachian redneck that is haunted by the founding fathers of America. So they kind of annoy him and follow him everywhere. And every now and then they might even need to possess him in order to go ahead and get our plot point further.
Have you been to comic book conventions, Doc?
Yes, I have. Now, Amy, just go ahead.
Go ahead. Say.
Well, so Amy actually just got back from one last week. She was at the Blue Water convention up in where was that at, Amy?
That was in Port Huron, Michigan. Sorry, guys. I think I'm still a little bit behind here on the audio. I have an Apple, and it's just doing what it does.
No,
Yeah,
no
that
worries.
works.
But yeah, so that was our debut at the Comic-Con, and I haven't been to one outside of being a fan. But yeah, this is going to be fun for the cosplayers if we get a big enough following. Absolutely.
That's what I was going to say. You're about a season away from having cosplayers show up at your booth. because these are, I mean, it doesn't matter if somebody doesn't know the comic, because it's such a unique look that people will ask the cosplayer, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
And then they'll tell, and free advertising.
Yeah.
You get that kind of thing going.
This is Input. Input is the dictator of cold-ish Asia, and he kind of runs all of the Betaverse and social media channels.
Oh, okay.
He has like a Mark Zuckerberg stand-in.
Yeah. I was going to ask which one he is.
Take your pick, but that's more of the general outline we're looking at.
And that just kind of triggered something else. I told you I was watching Inside Job. One of the other shows I discovered last week, and I binged it all the way up to where they're at now, is Avenue 5. Have you seen that?
Ooh, I haven't seen that one yet.
Oh, you must.
Oh, I need to check that one out. Yes.
It's just for everybody who hasn't watched Avenue 5. It's like Babylon 5. It's the future with spaceship, but not so future that we have aliens and stuff. It's just a cruise ship in space. It goes out into the solar system a little bit and back on like a 6-week tour. And something happens that gets thrown off a little bit course, and they're going to be back in 3.5 years now.
Oh no!
But it's like Star Trek meets The Love Boat meets Idiocracy, because there are people on there who are absolutely convinced that they've never left the ground. They're on a reality show. And one of the passengers like, I work in VFX. That stands for visual effects. And she's convinced them that, if they just go out the airlock, they'll be in the green room. And people rush into it, and the door opens and they desiccate and they float out into space. And she's like, that was really good. You could just barely see the pixels. So more people do it.
Oh my God.
Watching people stupid
I'm going to have to check that out. That sounds hilarious.
Hugh Laurie is the captain. So if you,
these people like 15 years ago or something, I forgot what it's called, but they actually space. And the big reveal at the end was like, just kidding. We fooled all of you.
Most of that broke up.
Most of that broke up, Amy, because it's an Apple. Thug Life, how do I share? Help me. You know what? There's a button right there on the campaign that, if you're logged into, I don't even think you had to be logged into Kickstarter. You can click the Facebook, the Twitter button. You can copy the link and just send it out in emails to everybody you know. Unless you want to share this video, in which case, there's an arrow right below it. I don't even think about sharing my stuff. I think about sharing your stuff. Let me click back on here again and get over to the next one. Well, we saw Mama Nat. Her figured out.
This is
the Pope. Oh, you do pronounce it Pope.
Well, that's where the E is there. We've got then the long O's. I tried to. Yep, it's Pope.
And it's version 2.
The version 1, we had to step up a little bit and make it just slightly more menacing. So, like, look at the hands and the animatronic features we were able to add in there. That's the version we needed. So the Pope rides in the hat of the animatronic thing.
The Pope is a monkey.
Yes.
This is like the Brain in his brain suit.
Yep, kind of. Like I said, a primate theme we've got running. If you noticed at the back of the hat, the TTV, that is his time television, allowing him to see the past, present, and future, so he can easily steer the events of the Harambe effect into whatever nefarious plans the Illuminatis want to accomplish, because he can see the outcome of his actions. That's something he actually won as a bet from Papa Time.
I was going to say, Papa Time might, it sounds like it got ripped out of the console of the retardus, which I just love saying because I can say it. I'm going. I've got to share this with my friend the Rabbi. Rabbi Zvi Lebetkin podcasts every day about Doctor Who and the TARDIS, and I'm like, this is up your alleys, dude.
Yes. You may love this parody. That's going to be Mouseman. Mr. Mouseman is also going to be debuting in issue 2 and is going to be our main protagonist in issue 2. And Mr. Mouseman, he runs Amuseland and antagonist, yes, I'm sorry, and is kind of the financial backer of everything that the Illuminatis need to pay for.
That's where the money comes from.
Yes,
that makes sense.
Yeah. Any guesses for what
fund...
Mouseman is a spoof on?
He also funds a character we have named Hollywood that will be debuting sometime in 2017. But yeah, it's wild guess, you know.
Yeah. Well, his whole existence is to get children addicted to smoking. True. That's my own conspiracy theory, and I did this 20 years ago, and I didn't remember it till I saw him because Disney was doing a co-promotion at the time with Nabisco, like all the different cookies. I'm like, well, yeah, but people forget that it's RJR Nabisco. The RJR stands for RJ Reynolds. You eat more cookies to get you slowly addicted to the nicotine that they put into it, so that when you're old enough, you can buy the RJR cigarettes.
Wow. Yes.
Well, there you go.
I'm just putting that out there, folks.
Hey, you know.
Yeah, that just writes itself then, I guess. I'm not going to feel too bad about taking advantage of old Mickey here.
Nah, take him to the cleaners. Let the duck have his day.
That is our League of Three Letters. Just the concept.
Uh-oh.
This is Oomtra number 1 and Oomtra number 2. This is coming up in a future issue, and one of these two are going to be running for the president of Americant, and the other one is going to be probably prime minister of Mother Country.
Americant? Dude, I love it. Now, they look like they got a Wonder Twins powers thing going on here, but that's just them.
Kind of like the Oompa Loompa paper doll type of thing. They can possibly maybe replicate at will and do multiple things at once.
Oh, I've got to see it. The Pope looks like Ampersand, the monkey from Y the Last. Well, he's a monkey. They all kind of look alike. Come on. He probably just takes over our religion because he's all that's left of the patriarchy. Could be. And he's not related to Harambe because Harambe's an ape. If there's a tail, then it's a monkey, not an ape.
This is Oomtra 2 on the second version of it. We had to plump him up a little bit in order to get more of my concept out.
Yeah. Are they going to be like short little creatures or full size?
No, they're going to be mostly man size.
Okay. Little hands. Just kidding. That's the end of the picture. So I'm going to go back over to the crowdfunder, and we're still at 789. That's okay. 14 backers.
We're getting there.
Inch by inch. So
14 backers for every days.
Anyone who decides to back this, I will be your personal friend.
There you go. Okay, can we make that a tier?
Amy's
we're up in the ante. Find me on social media. Let's be buddies. Come on.
Remember the Kent. Yes. Thank you for throwing the link out there, folks. Harrenberg's got the link to the Kickstarter in the chat here. You can also find it if you are, watching this afterwards and you haven't got chat turned on. It's below the video. It's right down there underneath all of us. The link is there. Click it, follow it. One of the things you want to do is, if you're logged in, like I am, see, like that, you can, if you're not ready to do it tonight, you can click on this. See how it says saved? That means that I'm going to get an email before this thing is done. It says, hey, you wanted to know about this. And because that's how I work Kickstarters. I always back Kickstarters the last day. Why? Because I use my PayPal. And if I PayPal something today, they don't take it right now. They wait 2 weeks till it's over to take it. In 2 weeks, I've gone to McDonald's, looked at my computer and said, oh, yeah, I got money.
Oh, yeah.
and it's happened. It's happened where Kickstarter's like,
I'm hoping there's going to be more of you than not, and we can push this over the goal line in the next 2 weeks.
There will be. I am personally going to make sure that I get you hooked up with at least 3 different other podcast shows tonight.
That would be incredible. Yeah, that's.
I know people who are going to want to talk to you. So
help us fight the culture war by sitting on your couch and donating us money. I will gladly be the human meat shield for anything that anyone else is afraid to say. I will say the things that no one else wants to say, and I will put myself out there. I was going to say prostitute myself, but I mean, hey.
This is I love it. Now, Thug Life just said that First World's about to be turned up. I don't know if that means that he's backed it here, but I'm gonna keep it here. We'll watch. We'll see if it if we get the little timpani roll like the Jerry Lewis telethon. I just showed my age.
Oh my gosh, no, I am kind of getting some telethon vibes. That's cool though. Hey, that's nostalgic.
I like what's a telethon?
Back when you had to spend it. No, yeah, no.
Yeah, that. Oh, yeah.
Now I'm throwing out my age.
I think anybody over the age of 20 is considered a fossil at this point.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, the world. Well, the world didn't begin until 2000.
Right.
Like there's never been a Black X-Man character before. Seriously.
Oh my god.
I've seen people say that. Like, this is the first one.
What? Oh yeah, they must have missed a large portion of it.
I blame myself a lot because I'm like every generation looks at the one that just came up and says, "There's something wrong with you," but this time around, it's like there's really something wrong with you, and I have to say, we raised you. What did we do?
Where did we break it?
Yeah, we broke the cycle somewhere. Like I can only hope that Family Ties is still on the air at some point, and your children grow up say, "Oh, that's how you rebel," like Alex P. Keaton.
Oh my gosh!
Instead of a Malcolm in the Middle type of a scenario we're currently living through.
Yeah. Oh, it's so
arguably so much worse than that. Oh, good lordy! Hence the circular conversation here, which brings us right back to why First World needs to exist in the first place, so we can just. I mean, the satire writes itself. We needed to at least try to make money off of that.
Oh, it's hard enough for Amy and I to decide which ones aren't important enough to make fun of.
Oh my God, yeah, that's actually hours of conversation.
Yeah, we're okay. So we can't fit it into here. So let's just throw it away.
Yeah,
we'll get another chance in 2018.
So many times we've been on the phone and I've had my laptop in front of me pulled up, just taking notes on the call, and we're trying to decide like what content we can actually fit. There's just so much, and I really cannot express enough how excited I am for issue 2. We've heard a lot of stories about how enthusiasm dies off real quickly for the second issue and then it'll pick up. But I'm really, really hoping that people will grab onto this and look into issue 2 because it's going to be close to 30 pages long, I think. And it spans so much content and it just hits on so many things that even though it takes place in 2016, it is extremely relevant to what's going on right now. Because we kind of, not to get down the conspiracy hole, but I don't want to give anything away. So I'm going to use terms that people familiar with conspiracy theories will recognize. Like we talk about kind of like Alex Jones stuff, Project Mockingbird stuff, pharmaceutical stuff. I mean, it's just, there's so much. And we talk about kind of religion in it. It's going to be a whole grab bag of offensive stuff going on in there.
It's going to be glorious. Yes, it got to get on Don Chin's channel. I've got to get him. I've got to introduce them to the Philosopher. You get them on Jack and the Philosopher show. I think they would like to see this. Heck, I think Ethan would be interested in this comic. I'm going to make sure that he's aware of it. Reach out to him tonight. A lot of people I can think of want to see this and don't know it yet.
I'm hoping it's something that is going to be new and unique and yeah, I'm hoping it takes off and picks up.
That warms my heart, honestly, my cold dead heart. It just warms it right up to know that I'm in good company. And
Yes,
it's been
absolutely.
this has been a wonderful thing for me coming from the art space, which has been like very, very much a hug box and echo chamber for the last decade at least. And now coming into this new world, finding all of these people who are like-minded and got so much feedback that people are like, wow, we need this message. I can't wait to see this. I can't wait for people to get offended and to get some laughs out of it. Yes, it warms my heart of ice. It really does.
You know,
Yeah,
if we can get a good enough following, I might be able to even turn this into an animation and
Oh,
take it beyond the comic book world.
it just so happens I know some animators.
Do you
Um,
now?
Yes, I do.
This might be
I
a
would
fun
love to work
project.
with them. Yeah, we would love to
Yes.
work with them. I'm learning right now. I'm starting to learn animation right now. But yeah, we would love to work with them and love to do that. We want to take this as far as it can go, Doc and I. We've had many conversations about the future of this project and others.
It's going to be fun. I was telling Doc earlier that I've been able to write the Destroyer, and part of what's hard about writing it now is that it's hard to satire the way things are right now. You're taking it in that whole Steve Gerber, Howard the Duck way, where you can get away with these
We
physical
took
manifestations.
Pritchett, Discworld is another.
Yes, Terry Pratchett.
Yes.
Doc, I wanted to tell you actually, and since I haven't really spoken to you much since the Comic-Con, I wanted to tell you this right after it happened, got distracted. So here I go. When I was at the Comic-Con, one of the people who bought copies said that this reminded them of Discworld. And I was like, oh my God, Doc is going to be so
Yes.
happy to hear that.
That was some of the inspiration we had on the creation of First World was, yes,
Yeah.
Discworld.
Oh my God. I was like, Doc is going to just freak when I say that. I couldn't believe it. They bought it.
They
picked
brought
up,
the
flipped through it, and
comparison
they were like, oh
themselves.
my God. Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Nice. Yes.
Yeah. I thought that was the
Hogfather's
coolest
one of my
thing.
favorites.
I've read several of his, and I'm in love with his entire world. The way he put it together, the world, the duck, the
Death.
yeah.
I mean, death.
Death. Yeah, literal death. And yes.
and
there you go.
the death of Rats, which is a little
Yeah.
rat skeleton, which also wears a cloak and carries a scythe. And just says
There you
"squeak."
go.
I don't think I've ever been more emotionally vested in a death character as I have his. It's yeah. If you've never read it, it's an incredible read. They are well worth the read any level you decide to pick up.
Yep.
He's
Anyway,
I
also
was
the
just,
creator of what's that?
yeah.
That new one on Prime of Good and
Oh,
Evil.
I know what you're talking. Oh yeah, I forgot what that's
oh,
called too.
the School for
God.
Good and Evil.
No, the one with angels and demons in it.
Oh, Good Omens.
Good Omens, yes.
Yes, yeah.
He was
Yes.
he helped create Good Omens. Good Omens is actually part of Discworld, supposedly.
Is it? I did not know that. I
It's
know
part
he
of
wrote
the
it with Neil
same-
Gaiman.
But it's supposedly in the same universe as Discworld, from what I've read.
Yeah, I asked Neil once about if he's going to do anything more with those characters. Of course, this was 20 some odd years back now, and his idea was like, well, I don't think so. I mean, Terry's awfully busy. I mean, he's practically Lord Pratchett. He owns half of England right now. And if I were to do anything with Aziraphale, I'm sure that he'd come over and break my fingers. And if he did anything with Crowley, I'd kill him.
Oh my God. Your accent's pretty good there.
I do accents. I've done amateur voice acting for live comic book readings for my friend Mike Walters, who is right now broadcasting the niche news over on the mic stand. I forgot to plug him, but that's the top of the hour, and we're still talking, so I can't send everybody over there. I wouldn't
Come and
can't
do
that
some
now.
voice actings for us when we start making animations. Can you do an Australian accent? That one always tickles me.
Well, if I listen to Michael Bancroft enough, I can come away with it. I've got to listen to it a little bit first before it starts to come out in me, because then
I know you gotta. The thing that always triggers me is just think that instead of 7, they say 7.
Yeah, you got to listen to him a little bit, and then you kind of become like a chameleon. You reflect it back at him. And it's it's fun to do accents. When the thing is, I have to know when I can't do one. I just say, nope, sorry, that was a really bad accent. Ricardo Montalban, that was not.
Oh God.
I could keep you guys here and keep talking, but I think we've talked the project through, and I don't want to, keep you all night, especially if people aren't backing it any further. I mean, come on, if somebody wants me to keep talking, let me see 789 scroll real
Be
quick
my
here.
personal friend. Let's be buddies. I'll chat your butt off. Come on,
She'll
people.
follow you
Come on,
on
push a little further.
Facebook and regret it forever.
Yeah, Instagram, Getter, Twitter. Let's do it.
Oh, well, anyway,
Well,
I'm
a quick teaser then right here before we wrap up for issue
yes.
2. Actually, let me see if I can find that illustration real quick.
I finished my adult beverage before the show was over. Had to drink water.
Oh
Oh,
no.
that's lame. What a downer.
I know.
Yeah, and
I'm
I would
I
love
only
to
allow
see
myself one.
actual artists or illustrators or whatever you fancy yourself do covers for future. But if not, if you're not artistically inclined, I would love to personally work with somebody to do the illustration for the cover and help them bring their vision to life. I think that would be an absolute blast.
I like it when she talks our language. that's our line.
I'm going to go ahead and send you an email real quick of the after credits page that we have of.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and open my email page.
Because, just like any good story the MCU has taught me, you must have an after credits scene to start up for the next big story arc.
Yes. It's a moral imperative.
Now, this is of the more risque drawing.
Oh God, yeah.
But this is the introduction of Pope, and bringing us into issue 2, where we're going to attack the a water crisis in Rocktown, where they can't get clean water for some reason, and we are going to then take our storyline even further.
Okay,
So this is going to be the after credit story that I chopped apart into just a straight thread. If you scroll, there's no real. It's all out of context. There's no words. Look at the hat.
None. He's getting none.
That just lets people know exactly how far we're going with this.
He's smoking his cigarette
Trust me,
back there.
it goes at least 3 times farther in the next issue.
Watching his TTV. Now, okay, I've got to call you on this one. You can't get away with stealing an NFT. It's not supposed to be legal.
That is a complete creation. No NFT stolen. But it could be a good NFT if the market would hold anything at the moment.
Oh God, yeah.
Wait, I want to buy groceries with this JPEG.
Love that one.
And he is able to see on his TV what has happened in the past, in the present, and in the future.
Our illustrator had so many questions about what the future picture is. He was like, surely you're joking about a frog orgy. And I was like, absolutely not. And then
it's all male frogs. It's all male frogs because it's turning the frogs gay.
That's right.
We're going to attack that in issue 2
ding,
as well.
Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, Doc jumps in and he's like, nope, absolutely not. Make a frog orgy.
We have another character that I didn't show you the concept art for, but Handy Sook will also be making an appearance in issue 2.
I love it. I love it all. All right, guys. I'm so glad I booked this because I
had a great time. Thank you so much for having us on.
Thank you.
I'm hoping we entertained at least a little bit.
Yes. When you kick off number 2, you email me or call me. My phone number's in my email. You can use it. I put it there for that reason.
Okay, I got you. I'm good with phone calls. I'm much better communicating that way.
All right, we will set this up again and have you guys back.
I thank you so much for having us on. This was incredible. I enjoyed myself. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you. It absolutely was. I enjoy conversations like this where I don't have to So there's some where it's 30 minutes in, I'm like, what do I ask now? It's like, this is it. This was not that.
We've got lots of content and lots of characters and a far path to still travel.
Yes. All right. everybody in the chat, thank you so much for showing out tonight. Thank you for backing this book. You make me feel like I'm actually doing something here. I've been at this for 6 years.
Successful. We got backers while on the show live. That is awesome. Thank you so much for that.
Yes,
the
thank
best
you.
feeling.
Thank you.
Folks in the chat, we already thank you for that. Thank you for being here. We don't have a show without you. We're just a podcast falling in the woods otherwise. And of course, as always, while you were here, we just hope you had a blast. Good night, everybody.